working together in the space, with the space, and using the materials of the gallery as a material, I guess, was a really enjoyable experience putting the show together. Yeah, so a lot of the works in here are very collaborative. So personally, I didn't prepare anything when I came into the show, which was quite frightening going into an exhibition without having made anything as such. And obviously we all had ideas and I knew what I wanted to do, but I was just working directly with the gallery's material. But a lot of the works were very collaborative, so the stock take work we made together in the space. And that just came out of just speaking together, and I don't know that anybody wants to create or to sort of claim that as their own work. So on the room sheet there's collaboration for a lot of the different elements, and the same with the bar as well.
I think that was a big part of the collaborative nature of the work as well, was we were all trying to reflect on what had been really important in our time as directors. So, the different things that were symbolic for us, so in the way that our practices helped us relate to the experience and process the experience. So that's how that was a big thing for me, especially since after finishing the directorship I moved to Brisbane pretty much. The intention of the show was to open up the very nature of an experience of being a director to the general public or the community as such who come here on a regular basis. So to give them access to the back spaces that they wouldn't normally have access to, and to walk them down the back corridor that's been a massive issue for many reasons, and to show them the spaces that may not even register on their radar, but as a director are so important in the general running of the whole space. And
I guess number one, not many people even know that this wall swings out at all. Like there's a giant roller door behind there, and so you get big things in and out of the gallery. But and I knew that from I had a show here before I was a director, so that was my first experience of Firstdraft, was with the roller door and with this amazing swinging wall. I guess that also relates to the paint excavation work. So just exposing, which is a work in the front space where I've just sanded back to show the last 17 years worth of wall painting. But that came out of a maintenance day where we just sanded back all the walls in the gallery, and gallery 3 in the front room, especially the wall where the office door is. It was so beautiful, and I think in our time that had been painted pink and it had been painted green just within the space of a year. So going back in there, especially where the screw holes come out, so it pulls the paint out so you get these beautiful little rings. So that work and this work, I guess, is a direct response to having just worked on the space in a really boring way.
Should we talk about the counter that
Sure.
we walked around to? And you just mentioned that you've spent time over the 3 weeks cleaning it up, which wasn't our intention at all. I'd probably hoped to expose the mess and what goes on behind there, and the bottles and the rubbish that just gets so out of control under that counter, which I've noticed there's no rubbish from the minders. But yeah, it's a feature of the gallery, that counter, and I guess it's why we wanted to flip that around in this space and just have something in the middle of the room that you saw when you come in.
Just in general, I made the postcards and the little works on the back of the wall, and it was very much they're really unresolved works for me. Like the plan was for them to be, big, glossy photos. I've never done photos before, so I was going to get a friend to shoot them, and it was going to be awesome, and all that kind of stuff. And then as the project developed, I was like, that's not appropriate. They need to be not finished. They need to be the way that they take place in the gallery needs to be completely different. And we talked about Michaela's flipping the wall, and I was like, well, I should hang works on the back that are unresolved, that are ideas, that are putting something out there for the sake of, project and dialogue and all those beautiful things that are so inherent in Firstdraft.
So it was really difficult for me to find a way to bring together what I do into this kind of context. And I really struggled with how to make it make sense, that I would make a work that would be about Firstdraft. Because my work is about, well, it's about love and it's about intimacy, it's about relationships, which I felt with Firstdraft, but I didn't know how to portray that until we had a meeting, and I just sat there for a while and I didn't say anything, but I had an idea clicking and I was just like, oh, I can't do that. I just can't. And then but I thought, I'm just going to put it out there. So I started to say it, and Agatha knew what I was going to say before I had even put the words together. And yeah, I was really overwhelmed that you all agreed.
I think we were too.
Really? You really would do that? I don't know if you've seen my work in the office, but it's a photograph of us, having an interlude after a meeting. So it's a joke, and I really, it was difficult because I actually haven't ever photographed with a boy in that kind of setting either, so it was really confrontational, I think, for all of us. And I didn't know how to really make it so that it wasn't tacky and it wasn't pretend. And so I think, and I got one photo of Sean with a look on his face that just says, what the fuck is going on here? And it was perfect, because it's really the message. It's a joke at the work. And I was so moved that you all agreed to do it. It was fun, yeah.
I think that's important too.
Obviously, it's not taking things too seriously.
No.
That's tongue-in-cheek, what else would we do at Firstdraft every week? We must be getting up to something in the office.
Yeah.
I think it's great. What happens behind closed doors?
It's all true. Forget what I said.
That's what I like about the show, is it's still the director's show. It's like there's personal elements, as there always will be, but there's like this collaborative element that's just kind of like a force to be reckoned with.
Like or didn't like. So that was a collaborative work between Agatha and Sean, and they spent a whole day working out Come On In, and I came in at the end of the day and was a little gobsmacked. They'd spent the entire day figuring out Come On In, but had no idea what was going on the other window. And obviously they'd started the project with an idea of what they were wanting to do. They were going to reproduce the image on the invite onto the window, and having a great big Come On In, like from the direction that people are going to be walking from Central Station was, I guess a way of hoping to get more people in there or engage with a community that wouldn't otherwise even notice that we're here. And I guess that also relates to Sean's projection work in the front room, which unfortunately is only visible at night time. So I guess making a work that's quite physically cumbersome inside the space, but is all about the street, it's all about the outside and the exterior and looking in. And for those, there's an explanation on the work, but it's a continuation of Sean's projection series, which is working with the light that you see when you walk past somebody's house at night time, and it's just that television light which has got such a unmistakable glow and the timing, the flicker, the change of colours, but it's always that blue-green. So that's what's being projected out into the space again.
This is the best show I've ever seen in Firstdraft.
Yay for you, man.
And I've been visiting Firstdraft for the last 6-7 years, and this is honestly the best show I've ever been to.
That's awesome.
So I've come back for the tour. It's just because when I first walked in, I saw the desk, and I was like, what's desk is this? And I've been to the gallery so many times, and I've never seen the desk that side of the desk before as a visitor. And then I looked at the corner where the desk was. I was like, that's the desk. I've just moved to the front. So I'm seeing all this junk that I've never seen before, even though I've visited this gallery like 100 times. I didn't know there was a gremlin down the bottom. Didn't know there was all the junk. Didn't realise that. And then I saw the guide sitting in front of the desk, like on this side of the desk. I thought, oh wow, so now you're sitting on the other side. And then I walked down here, and then I asked her, what is underneath here? She goes, just go around the back. So I go around the back, and I see this TV, and then I realised it's all the junk in that room. Just moved out, and I've never been in that room before. And I was like, whoa, I've never been been in this room before. I never knew. Now you've moved it out. And then when I walked back out, I see this wall. I was like, what's wrong with this wall? It's a white wall, you know, what did you do with it? And then I walked in there and I realised that you flipped the wall. You flipped the wall.
I didn't notice, I don't know if it was here at the beginning, but just looking at that, you know, too contaminated to collect sticker, and you know, how it relates to sort of art and Aries, and, you know, like...
I stuck that on the door when our bins wouldn't get taken, and I was like, why won't they take our bins? And I pulled the sticker off and went, oh, they're too contaminated to collect. And I stuck it on the wall because no one ever sees that side of the wall.
Well, that's what I mean, like, that's where the humour is too. It's that, you know, like you work as a checkout chick or something, it's usually, you know, the jokes that you know, give to each other, and you've inverted that.
Yeah.